But it's challenges that we're all about here today, and the first race of the 5 is literally just a few moments away, and I'm delighted to have joined myself, Nick Fellows, in the combox, Adrian Esser. Adrian, welcome to the second edition of Cybathlon Challenges. Atmosphere down below us in the competition hall is electric. We're going to start, of course, with the arm prosthesis race. You've been talking to the teams. You've been out there getting a little bit of last-minute info and detail. Just give us a little bit about how they're feeling, what the atmosphere is like, because from my perspective, they all seem pretty much ready to rumble and go for it big time.
As you said, Nick, the atmosphere is completely electric. We've had teams practicing right up until the last minute, asking questions. What do you think I could do to, give myself an edge in the race, and what strategy should I use in order to complete these challenges as quickly as possible? The teams are ready. They're ready to go. They're super excited. They're super eager. And I think today we're going to see some really, really amazing attempts at these challenges.
It's a fantastic opportunity for the teams themselves to test their technology, to test their own abilities in a competition zone, and perhaps most importantly for those pilots to get valuable experience operating the tech. Now, as we said earlier, there are 7 teams from all over Europe in this arm prostheses race. At some points throughout the day, we'll be heading to China, Indonesia. Later on this afternoon, we'll even be in Massachusetts in the United States of America. But these are the teams, some competing in their home hubs, others here in Zurich. Now, BionIT Labs will be first up. Then we'll have eOpera, Carla Bionics, Arm2U, Smart Arm, X-Opera, and Cybathlon from China. You're seeing the names of the pilots to the left of your screens. They will each start in the order that you see from the graphic, and then they'll take a second run. And Adrian, that's when the competitive element comes into play here, because if it goes well on the first run, you've got your banker. You can really push all of the challenge on the second. If it goes wrong on the first run, you have a chance to get it right.
Yes, so we're going to be able to see a full run of all 7 teams, and then again, as Nick said, we're going to see a second attempt, and you never know, maybe you pass the first challenge, maybe you fail it, then you'll have a second chance to redeem yourself, but it always ends up being very exciting and very exhilarating.
Now, you've got a burning desire to work in this arm prostheses division of Cybathlon. It's something that's very, very close to your heart. A few words of wisdom for the teams before they go. What must be their focus to make the whole team and pilot gel to win the race today?
Well, focus on the task, focus on the prosthesis, focus on the control that you've trained, whether it's with postural changes of the body or whether it's with EMG sensors and muscular contraction. I would say yes.
Okay, let's take a look at the teams. First up, we're going to head to Italy. First time competing, but a real professional outfit here. I cannot wait for Adrian to describe the technology that BionIT Labs have got, our Italian team today.
BionIT Labs, a medical engineering company, participates in the Cybathlon at the Italy hub in Soleto. Their goal is to turn disabilities into new possibilities. 27 people are working on the Adam's Hand project. The company's prosthesis is the world's first fully adaptive bionic hand. Complex muscle contraction triggers are no longer needed. All patients have to do is open and close the prosthesis. Its fingers will then adjust their movement automatically to the shape and size of the objects. The pilot of the team, Salvatore De Silis, lost his left forearm after a car accident. His passion is underwater fishing. BionIT Labs will be competing in the Cybathlon for the first time.
So here we go with Salvatore. Here he is on screen. This is a truly bionic arm. This is an amazing piece of tech that Adrian is going to describe to us in detail. Now, Salvatore De Silis in his first ever competition environment to test that arm prosthesis. First of all, we've got the bottled water. There we go. Watch the clock, just to the left there. 25 seconds and counting on the clock. First of all is the bottled water, testing the grip of the arm and the connection between the normal limb and the prosthesis. Secondarily, they then move on to the clean sweep, and they move on immediately. Now, let's just count that clock down. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Cybathlon Challenges 2023 is underway. It is the arm prosthesis race, and it is Salvatore De Silis of the Italian team that is the first on challenge. Adrian, tell us about this arm, because it truly looks bionic.
So I think we're seeing a really good strategy here, because the prosthetic hand can automatically adapt to the shape of the object. It's very, very easy for Salvatore to simply maneuver his hand around the bottle, close the grip, and pull it up. And we saw that. Now he's pinching the top of the bottle, but before he was able to go from the side and grab the bottle from the side.
Now, if you're not mesmerized by the arm itself, keep your eye on the clock. We have a 4-minute ruling here, and as the light stays green, 10 points for completing each of the 2 challenges successfully. Looked a little nervous at the start, but now the operation of the arm, we can hear the motors working in there as well, Adrian.
Yep. So we can hear the motors that control the opening and closing of the grasps. That was very quickly done and very confidently done as well. He's now on to the second task and attempting to flip the objects over, but he has to be careful about the marble. This one will roll off the table if he's not watching it carefully.
And that's a clear switch of tactic for Salvatore there.
He's got it.
360-degree switch of the arm to make sure that marble first didn't fall off the table, and then he gripped it with that 360-degree maneuver.
And it's super fascinating, I find, to see prostheses maneuvered into positions and orientations that we couldn't do ourselves. It's almost an advantage in some senses.
Now, in the rehearsals, Adrian, the Lego brick proved very difficult. Why is it so tough to get this thing to connect?
This is specifically tricky because they have to push it on from the side. So rather than pushing down, they have to be able to maintain that grip and press sideways. And this has been hard for all teams so far, and we're going to see teams continue to struggle with this. It's probably the hardest challenge.
And this is what Cybathlon is all about, testing the technology, the composure, the skill level of the pilot here. And you can clearly see for yourselves that Salvatore is just struggling a little to get this Lego brick to connect.
This is a very, very tricky task. He's going to try to pinch it from above and then push from the side. But it's always hard to... Oh, and he's got it. Yes.
He's there. He's home.
Hey,
but
he's
look
almost
at the clock.
done. Yep.
2:30, 2:35 on the clock. Remember, there is a 4-minute time ruling. Now the Italian
2 more
picks up
subtasks
the
to
pace.
do.
Credit card is in position.
Credit card's in, and now he's going for the key. This is the final item, and then he just has to cross the finish line.
Looking for the perfect 20-point score. Must not drop that key. Look how that arm prosthesis gets it. Now here we go. Key goes into the lock, and away goes Salvatore. Great work. 20 points. Perfect score, and a 2 minutes 58-second time. Wow! BionIT Labs Bionics have really set a blistering early pace here for the rest of the world to beat, and in their first ever Cybathlon competition. Well, after a slightly nervous start, the pace and tempo to the finale was absolutely brilliant. Tell us more, Adrian.
So this was a really, really good benchmark, and he's really set the bar quite high for the teams that are going to continue now. I think what we saw here was really the advantage of the adaptable grip. You can see how quickly he's able to recover from that bottle that slide out of the box, simply move his hand down, grab it, and replace it without having to think, without having to change the postural orientation of his arm. And he recovered from that slip really, really quickly. There was some struggle here with the Lego block, as we saw, but I think, as I said earlier, this is going to be a common thread between many of the teams that we see today.
Well, that was the one problem there for Salvatore, the Lego brick, and rest assured, he will not be the first of the 7 teams in this competition to struggle. This is one of the toughest parts of the challenge, but I have to say the pressure is off the Italians, Adrian. A brilliant time, B, the perfect score. What a way to debut Cybathlon challenges.
I think this is a great start, and yes, he set the bench pretty high.
He knows it's good. Doesn't he know it's good?
Look at that smile.
That takes so much pressure off his performance. Next up, we go to the Swedish team E-Opera. Welcome back to Cybathlon Challenges 2023, live from the ETH here in Zurich, one of the most renowned world's universities. We've just about completed the first of the 2 runs in the prosthetic arm race, but we're waiting to see if we can get Cybathlon, the Chinese team, up and running, who are suffering from just a few technical issues. But those gremlins, we're told, will be resolved very quickly. So let's quickly bring you up to date on the 6 performances so far and the standings and the results. If we need to start the second leg, we will, and then go back to China to catch up. It's E-Opera at the top of the table with a 20-point perfect score and the best time on the board, their pilot Magnus Niska. Then the new team, BionIT Labs from Italy, and their pilot Salvatore De Silis in second spot. Christophe Houchet, who won this race in 2022, is in third position. And then we see Carla Bionics in fourth. So we're going into the second round now whilst we try and work out the technical issues in China. And BionIT Labs from Italy got off to a brilliant start. They've got their banker behind them ready. They can really push it now. This is their home hub in Italy. And their pilot is Salvatore De Silis, the BionIT laboratory team. Like I say, making their debut to the Cybathlon series here today, and they looked impressive. Perhaps more importantly, Adrian, that prosthetic arm looked really impressive. Tell us a little more.
Yep, so again, we're seeing a similar strategy here, grabbing the sides of the bottles. This device here is the only IP67 rated prosthesis, which means it can actually withstand submersion in water for short periods of time.
And again, that is something that we would have never dreamed of, being able to go swimming with your prosthetic arm is something I find remarkable. Something equally as remarkable is this is Salvatore trying to pick up the pace and find a little bit more speed.
He has to push here a little bit. There's a minute and 11 seconds behind him in the first place team, and only 1 place up to go.
Now, what impressed me so much with this prosthetic arm in the first leg is its ability, the hand and fingers, to turn 360 degrees to get the grip necessary in this clean sweep round. Flips that box very quickly to keep the marble within it rather than opting to take the marble out first. There's another classic example that moves it in a direction that, of course, our normal hand has no chance.
Yep. We've seen Christophe use this technique as well. It never ceases to fascinate me. He's making very, very good time here, actually.
Now, the Lego brick has been a real head-scratcher for many. It's been frustrating for others. We're watching the clock carefully here. There's the target time, 1:47. I don't think the Italians are going to take top position here. Again, look, he's struggling to get that Lego brick to connect with the block.
It's a very tricky task, and I wonder if it would help to have his body in front, but he's got it on the second try. This was much quicker than the first one.
Credit card. Into position. Look how quick he is with these last 2 pieces. It looks like he's left the key till last of all. And brings it, and away he goes.
This is a big improvement.
Improvement in time, and another rock-solid performance. 2.16 seconds. Got to be delighted with that. BionIT Labs making their debut at Cybathlon here for 2023. 2 perfect runs and improving from run to run 2. Really is just great news, not only for the pilot, but for the whole team in the development of this prosthetic arm.
He really closed the gap behind Magnus and increased the gap for Christophe, if Christophe wants to snag a second place position.
It's a great piece of technology, and a piece of technology that is close to the heart of Salvatore. He loves the sea, he loves the ocean, and they've made it waterproof, which is the first of its kind in the world. But in day-to-day tasks, which we're seeing in slow-mo right now, it is a very effective piece of assistant technology.
I think we also saw how easily the hand could adapt to different grips. So you can see in one moment he's doing a pinch between the thumb and the forefinger, and now it's between the thumb and two fingers, and he can immediately switch to a side grip without any extra cognitive load. The hand just takes care of all the thinking for him.
This was an impressive, but look how again the adaptability, the flexibility to get angles, and what I like about the way he works with these last 4 pieces of the challenge, Adrian, is it's quicker than you'd probably ever need in day-to-day life activities.
I mean, in the end of the day, this is also a challenge and a competition, so we're creating a time pressure to see these results as quickly as possible.
So BionIT Labs have had their 2 performances and stay second in the standings. So, 2 great performances. This team has to be absolutely delighted. I'm hearing that we are now able to go back to China.